Happy Monday to all of my third grade friends. I just wanted to say hello before we get started, and I really hope that you liked last week's lesson because there is more where that came from. So buckle your seatbelts and hang on while we continue to work on main idea.
Thank you, Miss Stone. I just wanted to say that I am going to be your host for the evening. So, we are going to get started with talking about what main idea is. We are going to dig into two different little paragraphs and decide what the main idea is of each one. And the first paragraph that we're going to dig into is about cats and dogs. So before we get started on that, I thought that I could interview Cat and Dog.
Oh, thank you to my host. So what I have to say is that I think that cats are better than dogs, but this little paragraph is going to explain some similarities, but also some big differences between cats and dogs. And I think that the third graders should really just decide that which animal is the best. Um, cats. Cats are the best. But anyway, I guess we need to read and find out. But first, I guess you guys can listen to Dog.
So I don't really know what Cat was talking about because clearly dogs are better than cats are. But we're going to read a little paragraph that, like Cat said, tells you some ways that we're the same, but how we are also different. So I'm going to send it back over to Miss Stone to read the passage with you.
Welcome back, third graders, and thank you to my host and Cat and Dog for their short little interviews before we read this passage. So I'm going to share my screen with you so that we can read this little paragraph together. All right, so dogs and cats do have something in common. Both are tame animals and pets to humans. However, they are two very different animals. Dogs bark and need attention. They need lots of love and have more of a problem taking care of themselves. Cats purr and meow. They are often more independent than dogs. They do fine when left at home alone for a day or two. So if you go back to think about last week, we need to really go in and find some keywords. So I'm going to highlight my keywords. We're going to highlight my keywords in yellow. Now, I think that dogs and cats show up a lot, okay? It says both. And since it says both, I know that means dogs and cats. So I'm going to go ahead and highlight that. Are tame animals, pets, however, they are two very different animals. There's dogs, bark and need attention. They need lots of love and have more of a problem taking care of themselves. Cats, purr and meow, they are often more independent than dogs. They do fine when left at home alone for a day or two. Okay, so I see that my topic here is cats and dogs, but what is really the author trying to tell me? So now I'm going to go in and I'm going to find, what does it say about cats? What is it saying about dogs? And I'm going to try and figure out what the main idea is from there. So I'm going to do green for dogs, and then I'll choose a different color for cats. So both are tame animals and pets to human. Okay, so first of all, I'm going to change it to purple because that right there tells me that's something how they are the same. All right, now I'm going to go back to green and I'll do my dogs in green. However, they are two very different animals. Dogs bark. They need attention. They need lots of love. So they need lots of love and have more of a problem taking care of themselves. So more of a problem taking care of themselves. All right. Cats purr. Okay, so now we're talking about cats. So I'm going to switch to pink. Cats purr and meow. They are often more independent than dogs. They do fine when left at home alone for a day or two. So fine when left alone at home for a day or two. All right, so if we look at this, purple is how they're the same. Green is about the dog, and pink is the cat. So what's going on here? So first of all, it tells us how they're the same. They're tame pets, which means that they're not wild animals. So that's how they're the same. And then they're different because dogs barks, but cats meow. Dogs need a lot of attention, but cats don't need that much attention. Dog needs lots of love that goes along with giving them attention, and cats are more independent. They like to kind of hang by themselves. So it sounds like the main idea might be about how dogs and cats are the same, but how they're also different. So I'm going to go down to the next page, and I'm going to look. Which sentence states the main idea of paragraph 1? So that's what we just read. Dogs and cats are just the same. Well, it did talk about how they're the same. So, I'm not going to cross that one out yet. I'm going to see what else it says. Dogs and cats are both pets to humans. Okay, it did say that. It said that too. Dogs and cats are both pets, but they are also different. Okay. Cats are more independent than dogs and like to be left alone. Okay, and it said that too. So here's where it gets tricky because it does say these things, but not all of these things are the main idea. And that's where you've got to really stop and think. What we highlighted were our details. And then we kind of pieced our details together to come up with what we think the main idea is. So dogs and cats are just the same. Was our entire paragraph about how they're the same? No. It started out talking about how they're the same, but then it went into, yeah, but dogs are this way and cats are this way. So I'm going to get rid of, I'm going to slash and trash the first answer choice. There's got to be, I think there's a way I can do it. We'll just use the pen here, I guess. All right, so A, I'm going to get rid of A. Okay? So now, B, dogs and cats are both pets to humans. Now it did say this too. However, this was not what the main idea was. This was a detail in our passage. So this was not what the author wanted us to get across. The main point was not that they're both pets to humans. It was a detail, but it wasn't the main point. So I'm going to go ahead and mark that out. Dogs and cats are both pets, but they are also different. So it did say they were both pets. And then it went on and talked about how they're different from each other. So I'm going to leave that one, and I'm going to check the last one. Cats are more independent than dogs and like to be left alone. Well, this is just telling us one way they are different. It isn't, the whole thing isn't about how cats are independent and dogs are not. But I mean, that is a detail that it said that just supports the fact that dogs and cats are both pets, but they're also very different. So I am going to mark this out as being the main idea. And I am going to choose the main idea as C. Okay? So now our next paragraph we're going to read about is, well, you know what? Let's just go over to our host.
Thank you, Miss Stone. Your host is now back. The next paragraph that we are going to talk about is going to take us out of this world. Literally, out of this world. Into outer space. This next paragraph is about the first landing on the moon. So, we're going to travel into outer space and get a little inside look before we start reading about the first landing on the moon.
Hey everybody, this is the moon. I have come to tell you about the very first time that a human stepped onto my surface. It happened in 1969. There was a space shuttle that was launched called Apollo 11, and it brought 3 astronauts to the surface of the moon. And it was the most amazing event that had happened in history to that day in 1969. Now I'm going to send it back to Miss Stone, and she's going to tell you a little bit more about the first time on the moon.
Thank you, Moon. And now let's head over and see what our little paragraph has to say about the first trip to the moon. July 16, 1969, Apollo 11 launched, taking 3 astronauts to the moon. July 19, 1969, the space shuttle made it to the moon's orbit. July 20th, 1969, 2 of the astronauts boarded the lunar module Eagle and made the trip to the moon's surface. They then spent 21 hours exploring the moon. July 21st, 1969, the Eagle headed back to the shuttle to get ready to head to the Earth. July 24th, 1969, the astronauts were recovered from the Pacific Ocean. Wow. So, guys, lots of dates here. I'm just going to go ahead and highlight all of these dates. I feel like because that is super important. Now, do I think our topic is the date? No, but I think it's going to help us figure out exactly what the author wants us to know. So now let's also look and see what words were repeated. All right, let's see. Astronauts, moon. The space shuttle made it to the moon's orbit. 2 of the astronauts boarded the lunar module Eagle and made the trip to the moon's surface. Then they spent 21 hours exploring the moon. The Eagle headed back to the shuttle to get ready to head to Earth. The astronauts were recovered. Astronauts were recovered from the Pacific Ocean. So topic. Astronauts and moon. But what about the astronauts and moon? We know that astronauts go in outer space. We know that they've been to the moon. But I see the dates here. And if I really look at the dates, they're in order. July 16th, July 19th, July 20th, July 21st, July 24th. They weren't in space for that long. They left on July 16th and they came back on July 24th. They were literally not even gone 10 days. So this was a quick little mission. The whole mission was to get there, get on the moon, check it out, and get back to Earth. Okay? So this is a timeline. This is telling us the sequence of exactly how those few days played out. What happened on the first day? What happened on July 19th? So if we go down and we look to see what it is, what our choices are, which sentence or phrase states the main idea of paragraph 2? Apollo 2 crashed into the Pacific Ocean. Well, the whole thing wasn't about it crashing into the Pacific Ocean. I feel like that was a detail. That's a detail because that happened on the last day of the timeline. So I'm going to go ahead and mark that out. Okay. The journey of the Apollo to spacecraft. Okay. It was its trip to the moon and then the trip back home. So the journey there and the journey back. I think maybe this could be my answer. I'm not going to mark it out yet, but I am going to check my other ones to be sure. The different ways to go into space. Well, talked about the space shuttle, but it didn't really give us another way that people go into space. I don't think this was to tell us about different ways to get into space. So I'm going to mark this out. The moon was explored for 21 hours. Okay, yeah, it said that. But it didn't tell us exactly what they saw on the moon, and it didn't tell us what they found or anything like that. So I don't think the main idea was that the moon was explored for 21 hours. I think it was the trip to the moon and then the trip back home. So I'm going to go ahead and mark that out, which means I am going to choose B as my answer. All right, if you guys look at number 3 and number 4, you're going to do these on your own today. Remember what we talked about. Remember our strategies. Then you'll scroll down to number 3 and number 4 down here and choose what you think the main idea is. Be sure you highlight. These are strategies you use to help you determine the main idea. Okay? All right, guys, I will see you tomorrow for another lesson. I hope you enjoyed the first lesson for this week on main idea. We love you and we're proud of you. Goodbye, guys. Mwah.